Hello, everyone, and welcome to an episode of Backlog Brain Rot. This is the first time I'm actually hosting a Backlog Brain Rot, so this is pretty exciting. I'm Sean Mason, obviously, and I'm joined, as always, by one of my favorite co-hosts, Straw Hat. How you doing?
Konnichiwa, Minasan. I'm doing good. It's still hot here, so I'm ready for the heat to stop really for it to cool off. But otherwise, not doing too bad. How about you?
Doing great. I'm actually. It's pretty hot here too. I'm actually really enjoying it though. I love the heat. I love sitting outside in the heat and just relaxing. And it's summer, so I enjoy summer a lot. So
Yeah, especially since you don't have to work. That's one thing that Joanna also is like, she always would feel guilty, which obviously she didn't work most of this year, but usually it's like during the summer, her and her friends are always like, "Oh, we can do this and that," and I'm like, "Well, I work the same as any other time of year." So
yeah, that's the really good part. It's always like, oh, what do you want to do today? I don't know. I'll figure it out. There's always something to do.
yeah.
All right. Well, today we're going to be discussing a very, very beloved game for me, and that is Bug Fables: The Everlasting Sapling. It's funny. This is our second consecutive long talk about a turn-based RPG. The only difference is, yes, as much as I enjoyed Expedition 33, I think this is the better game, but I'm a little biased because of, the art style and everything.
Yeah, I'd have to think about that one. I did give both 5 stars. I thought they were both pretty amazing. And yeah, obviously we've been leaning RPG heavy, so Parrot hasn't been involved. But I have a feeling our next long talk, which will likely be Donkey Kong Bonanza, all three of us will be on that one. So,
Oh, yeah, at the time of recording, the game will be out tomorrow. We are very excited.
hmm but yeah, Bug
But,
Fables. I know you did an episode with Poot on his podcast, Why You Should Play. So I
mhm.
did listen to that before. But it's so weird with this game because I know you pretty much were following it from the beginning based on what I heard from what you said on there and stuff. But I remember when this came out, and then I think I had started a playthrough, and then I don't know why I stopped, but I just kind of forgot about it. And then I'm like, why did I stop this? Because then I started again. I'm like, yeah, this is amazing, especially if you love Paper Mario. There's not many games better than this.
I would say this is the second best Paper Mario game. That's what I would call it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's funny because I feel like in some ways it's better than all the Paper Marios, but then in other ways I don't think it's quite as good. Like the combat wise, I think it's definitely the best because of just how much versatility and the difficulty. But I do miss not getting partners. I know you and Poot talked about that, and he actually kind of liked that. But I do like having different, which that's a JRPG thing that I like. I like getting different cast members and switching them in and out. But I mean, I didn't have a problem with the core three, but I did kind of miss that, honestly.
I hear you. All right, so Bug Fables is like Straw said, it's an RPG. Definitely, it's inspired from Paper Mario. The devs have said that this is developed by Moonsprout Games. This is their only game that they've developed. They're like a big mainstream game. They have like small like games where you can see like the bare bones, the skeleton of Bug Fables and like their other like games. There's like little like RPG battlers. But this game came out on Steam in November 21st, 2019, and then it was released in 2020 in May for home consoles. Um, but yeah, I followed this game from when it was originally announced. I backed it on Kickstarter. I was all in for this game. I was super excited to play it, and it really lived up to the high expectations. I've played it many, many times. I've bought it many times. It's great that they've supported the game since it's been released. They've had quality of life updates. They've done a lot of things to just make the game better. And yeah, so I think we should just get right into it. Okay. So the game starts out like many Paper Mario games. You have the game is segmented into chapters. Um, and they're all titled just like the Paper Mario games. And chapter one, a dysfunctional trio. This is basically where you learn about your main cast. You get all three of your main party here. They are called Team Snakemouth, and they are just a bunch of explorers, trying to help the Ant Kingdom, Bulgaria, solve their basically issues and help out the kingdom, basically. So, Straw, what do you think when the game first starts? What were your initial impressions?
Yeah, so you kind of get thrown somewhat into it because I think you start out as Kabu, right? And
Yep, you
then
started as Kabu, and then a V
yeah,
arrives.
then V, or is it V or Vi? Because I always kept
I
saying V, but I looked in the actual booklet and I think they say you should say it like bi. So I think it's Vi.
I always say V, and I've watched I since I was big into Paper Mario speedrunning. This game was a big speedrunning thing. A lot of people Paper Mario speedrunners speedran this. They all call it V, so I've always called it V.
Okay, yeah, well, because I wanted to say it V because V the bee, but yeah, the
Yeah,
only reason I said Vi is because I looked and, like I said, I have the book from the physical edition, and one of the questions they're like, "How do you pronounce her name?" And it's like just like B, Vi's sister says it like Bi. So that's what I don't know. It is weird, but whatever. I do like V better, so we can stick
I do
with
too.
that.
So we'll call it that.
But yeah, so yeah, you pretty much start out with those two and you get thrown right into it. I would say this is more of the most, I guess, untraditional chapter other than the last one, but
Hmm.
because there's not, I mean, you do go to a location, but you pretty much just, you have the two and you head off to Snake Mouth Cave. And my first thought right away was like, oh, you get this hard mode badge, which
Hmm.
typically strategy RPGs I'll play on hard mode, but regular RPGs I'll normally do normal unless it's a Trails game, just because I know how the combat works. But I did look up and see that you get like rewards for beating bosses at least on hard mode. So that's pretty much what I stuck with the whole game. I kept it on the whole time. And I will say it does make it more challenging, but it is worth it in the end. But yeah, I thought it's cool. I thought it's a good first chapter because if you compare it to the Paper Mario games, those kind of, you usually just go to a Koopa village in those and then go to like a fortress or a castle.
Hmm.
Where this one, you're in the original kingdom and then you just kind of go down to Snake Mouth rather than like a separate whole location like you do in later ones. But yeah, I thought it's a pretty great opening chapter.
Yeah, I really like it. They throw you right in. You're supposed to be exploring Snake Mouth Den, and when you get there, that's when you find your third partner. Well, your third member of your party, Leaf, and he is
Hmm.
a moth. And it's funny, he's trapped in the spider web. Um, I remember when I first got to this boss, I thought the spider. It was pretty hard at first, like the
Oh
first time I
yeah,
fought it, because you're not really. I was so used to like the traditional Paper Mario combat, which this is very like much like it, but it is different enough where this game is more challenging than Paper Mario.
definitely. Well, because you have a couple different things. So, like, basically, to go over the system real quick, you have the three party members eventually, and you can switch where they stand, which can increase and decrease their attack and defensive power. But you can also like share your turns, so people can go
Yeah.
more than once, but your like attack will be weakened. So there's a lot of different strategy to have, like where you have your characters lined up, and you can get like different medals and stuff that'll like make so the back member has more defense and stuff like that. But yeah, the first boss fight, it took me I think 2 or 3 tries to beat, and it was a struggle. Like I was really pushing it at the end.
No, definitely, yeah. Especially because right at the beginning, you don't have access to every single thing in your combat. So it's like
Yeah.
you're just working with like kind of the bare bones. And especially, I like you played on hard mode because that's like the best.
Yeah, and I
Um,
feel like this game so for people that do start on hard and get a little intimidated, I feel like the beginning of the game is the hardest. Just kind of, and it's the same thing as Trails games. Like I feel like at the beginning of these games when you play on hard or nightmare, you don't have the options like you said, Sean. So
mhm.
once you get more options and more medals and stuff, I feel like it really isn't that bad at all to be on hard.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially when you get like the Super Block Plus
Yeah.
medal. It's like it makes super blocking a lot easier and it just reduces the damage. Um, I'm curious, when you leveled up, what did you primarily? focus on.
All right. So what I typically will rarely do HP because
Thank you. That's how you play these games.
I
No HP.
usually, yeah, I usually put everything into, I guess it's TP on here or the badge points or medal. But I think at the beginning I did maybe put one or two upgrades into HP just to get everybody to 10. But then you do get like medals. But then after that, I pretty much want all medals and TP. I think I did get max level by the end, and I think I had my TP up to 42 or something like that, and then the
Mm,
rest was all
yeah.
in medals.
Yeah, when I play these style games, these Paper Mario style games, I never upgrade the HP. It's all flower points in Paper Mario, but like you said, TP here and the metal points here because I love the when you have so many metal points, I just love the amount
Yeah.
of customization you can do, all these different moves. It's great.
And I think that's
Um,
where these combat systems shine. And that's why, like, other than this and those the first two Paper Marios, is I don't even know if there is any other games that use like a metal badge system like this.
I'm sure there are. Well, there is the Outbound Ghost is one. It's very much kind of inspired by these games. I played it. I think it came out in 2023. Like, and it's very similar. They have the same kind of structure. It's
Okay.
a lot easier though. It's a lot easier.
But yeah, the first
Um,
one, so yeah, you pretty much get to the cave and then you meet Leaf and he has like amnesia, the classic anime
Classic JRPG.
JRPG
Yep.
character trait. Where I guess
Um,
we could talk about the characters a little bit because like Kabu's very like noble. He's like your tank. You can tell he has like a past because he doesn't really want to discuss. Like he keeps kind of hinting at stuff, and then V's my favorite by the way. She's very
Same.
like
V is my favorite too. She's very much like up in your face, very
selfish.
animated.
Yeah,
Yep, animated. She make the expressions on V's face that she makes. They do such a good job just showing her emotion just through her facial expressions. Um,
she always does what I would typically do at the end of side quests and JRPGs too. They're like, hey, can you do something for me? And Kabu's always like, oh yes, of course. And V's like, well, what are you gonna give us?
yep, that's how V is. It's the best. And then, like you said, yeah, Leaf is has amnesia. You really don't know much about him at the beginning. He can use ice magic, which is like very rare in like around Bulgaria right now,
hmm
and he knows the Roach language, which is like very very unique because many people don't know any of like that type of language in their current time period. So right away, you know there's something up with Leaf. Um, Basically, his whole thing is he's trying to discover like his past, like what happened in his past, like why is he here, why does he remember anything. It's really interesting, and like all three of them kind of go on like a character arc journey,
Yeah,
which is great. And it's revealed throughout the main chapters, but there are side quests where you get a little bit more into it,
you know,
especially with
yeah.
V and
Correct me
Leaf.
if I'm wrong, but I think Leaf would only be through side quests that you discover his right because both V you go through are you she's in part of the main I mean at least the main story you kind of address where she's from and then Kabu also goes back to a place in his past where Leaf I think if you'd ignore his side quest I don't know if you'd really discover anything else.
Yeah, so all three you get like a little bit about like their character arc, and you kind of learn definitely learn more about Kabu and V. But Leaf, a lot of that is the side quest stuff, and you really get into his history, and it's some of it's like pretty heavy stuff,
Oh yeah.
and the way he responds is like super sad at first.
Yeah, it gets pretty dark because, and we can talk about just like the plot overall at the beginning because it's funny. The basically at the very beginning, so why you go to Snake Mouth Cave is the queen has basically this bounty board up. Like she wants to collect the artifacts that's so she can access the everlasting sapling. She doesn't really say why, but the first, I think it's 3 or 4 chapters. That's basically all you're trying to do is get the artifacts, which is again very Paper Mario like because it's
Yep.
like each chapter you get a power or you get a star
Get the
spirit
crystal
or
star.
a crystal star. But
Yeah.
it's also funny.
One thing
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like you are trying to go up against the Wasp Kingdom too. You're trying to get it before
Yes.
the Wasp Kingdom because the Wasps are like the big bad enemy in here.
Right. And it's funny because they do a pretty good plot twist, or they do. We can talk about the story later on because, like I said, that was basically the first four chapters. But I was very suspicious of the Ant Queen because you get very weird vibes because she seems very selfish and dark. So I was already predicting in the beginning. I'm like, oh, we're gonna be fighting the Ant Kingdom at the end, but
That's what I thought right away too. But
we find out later that's not the case.
yep, you find out later it's not the case. I was like shocked. I for sure thought she was going to use these to like have some like ultimatum against like the kingdom and take out like everyone. Um, but yeah, let's get into the next chapter. Um, what'd you think of chapter 2? Hang on, I'm trying to get the title of chapter 2 again. Sorry.
Yeah, this is the golden. Is it the golden
Yeah,
something? But it's like the. Or wait a minute. No, I'm thinking the chapter 3. I was thinking the sands, but this is where you go to like the
it's like the autumn
yeah,
village
the autumn
almost.
area, which
Yeah.
that has like all the Venus flytraps you go through.
Yep.
And yeah, I do like this chapter. I the getting to the area was a little not as fun as some of the places, or once you have to get through. Like I love the village. That it's one of my favorite towns in the
Hmm.
entire game, which is funny because one of the side quests is about this beetle, or I think he's a beetle that's like trying to find a home, and he likes you find him in all the places, and he
Yep.
ends up settling here. I think is it the Golden Settlement? Is that the name
Yeah,
of the
it's called the
place?
Golden Settlement. You go through like the Golden Path tunnel. You go
Yeah.
through Golden Path, then you get to the Golden Settlement. But yeah, this is also the first place that you can find like an optional boss. And I didn't realize at first that some of these bosses were optional. So like I went and found it because I'm exploring every inch of the map.
Which boss did you find here?
It's like the giant Venus flytrap. Hang on, I will tell you exactly what it's called.
Oh, the chomp, like the giant, the chomper mother.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did fight her, but how did you even get to her? Because don't you need Leaf's like shield, or did you like fall into the cave somehow? Because I
You can
remember.
fall into the Yeah, you can fall into the cave.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would be a Mother Chomper is one of the tough as a tough
Yeah.
fight. So yeah,
And
that
I'm
would
like,
have been
"Oh,
tough.
what's going on here?" And I got like my butt kicked,
Yeah,
obviously.
that's a tough
Um,
one. But yeah, the village is fun because basically the guardian of the village won't let you go look for the next artifact from the Venus until you participate in their festival, which I always like
yes,
doing that
I
kind of
love those.
stuff.
There's like some fun mini games and
Yeah,
everything. I love it. Also, this is the first time you run into Mothiva
I was just gonna bring
and
that up.
Ma. I pronounced it Maki.
Oh, I'm not. I was thinking, is that the other wasp name, or is that the
Yeah,
name?
it's the um that's that's the her bodyguard.
Okay, yeah. For some reason I thought his name was something different, but yeah, I did really like those
Oh
two.
no, it's Zasp. Sorry, Zasp.
Zasp, that's
Sorry.
it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought it started with a
yeah,
Z. But yeah, I
yeah.
love Zasp and Mothra, or however you say her name. Those were two of my favorite characters because they kind of have like a little rivalry with you, especially because they always like show up. They kind of remind me of like in Paper Mario the original. What's his name? The Egg Junior boy or the
Oh, oh my gosh, yeah. His name is something T Junior.
yeah. Let me
Yeah,
look it up real quick here. Junior
but yeah, no,
Troopa. Junior
yeah, Junior.
Troopa.
Yeah, these are like they're another team that's basically sent out by the Ant Queen to try to help and get these artifacts. But like Mothiva has like a great reputation around the like Bulgaria
Yeah,
and the
she's like a
Ant
pop
Kingdom. She's like a
star.
celebrity. Yeah. So like people like kind of freak out when they see her and they're supposed to be like higher rank than you. So you fight them a couple times. It's fun.
Yeah. It's funny because Zasp is like kind of your rival too. Like he's a wasp that left the Wasp Kingdom, but he also has like a crush on her. So he's like very like tries to be very accommodating to her, even though, and of course, V is very antagonistic towards Zasp. So that rivalry there
Mhm.
is always fun. Now I got
Yeah.
to ask you, there one thing I did really like that this game that Paper Mario doesn't do is they let you, if you have the money or the berries for it, you can pay to open the shortcut back to the ant village at the beginning of the chapter. Do you usually do that, or do you wait till
I
the
did
end?
it. Yeah, I did it every single time.
Okay, yeah, me too. Because you can wait till the end and it's free, but it's so much handier to just go right back because the travel system is so well done in this world. Like you basically all go back to the ant castle underground, and they're working in a
Mhm.
mine and they're making
I
tunnels
love that.
everywhere.
I love how they're working in the mine. It's just that like, oh well, this pathway will be open later. It's like you gotta open it later. It's great. The little
Also,
Wonder
I
ants.
feel like another tip for people who struggle with hard mode, use your items because one thing
Hmm.
in Paper Mario games, I like never use items. Like I hardly ever need to use items because you have like healing blocks, you have ends, which you have that here, but I feel like with the cooking system here, you can get such good items for so
Oh yeah.
cheap that you can eat it makes the game a lot easier if you use your items, which I feel like a lot of JRPG players, myself included, we try to save our items till we absolutely need them, and then you
And then
hoard
you
them
don't
till
use
the
them.
end.
Yeah. Also, we do learn Leaf makes it because they bring Leaf along. Obviously, they most teams for like that go out that the Ant Queen sends are teams of two, but she approves that Leaf can join them. But we learn that Leaf said this is the first time he's seen the Queen in a while. But when the
Right.
last time he saw the Queen, it was I think it's like Els. I can never pronounce her name. It's like Elzient.
Elziant the First or
It was
something.
he says Elzient the first. The current queen is Elzient the 11th. So right away we're like, what's going on here? Is he like from the past? Did he time travel? So right away you're kind of known that there's something up with Leaf, especially because he has all these powers that are unheard of. So yeah,
Yep.
it's really interesting.
Yeah, so
Um,
what did you think of? So the area leading up to Venus is right after the village after you do some stuff. And that's kind of where the one issue I feel like in this game that kind of, which it didn't really hold it back for me, but I can see why people don't like it is the platforming because the characters are in 2D and then of course the world is like 3D, so it can be kind of hard to gauge like what you can jump on and stuff. So I feel like
mhm.
here with the bridges, because this is where you unlock V's boomerang ability where it can like hang, they're kind of like coops, or is it, yeah, one of the coops
Yeah,
can do
Koops
that,
and Coopers like
shell that
Shell
just
Toss
hangs,
from
yeah.
Paper Mario. Yeah. Yeah, no, the platforming is definitely a little challenging, especially with just like the depth perception that you have, like trying to figure out where you're gonna land. Um, I do like the area though that you explore. I think it's really creative. I think it looks gorgeous. Like you said, it's like the golden, so it's like autumn. There's a lot of stuff to find too. Did you like the so there's some puzzles, so there's like some puzzle aspects too that you have to solve to try to figure out where you're going, like certain things like moving certain logs and doing
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I
How do
always
you
like I do always like that stuff because it's like very Paper Mario. Like they're pretty simple. You usually have to find an item and bring it back. And like for this one, you had to put those spinny cogs so that V could turn the bridges. So I always like because I usually try to explore out the whole area anyway. So it
yeah,
kind
I
of
mean,
gives you
that's how you do
incentive.
it. Yeah.
And the one key thing, like we've already talked about, is they do a great job bringing shortcuts with backtracking and travel. Because I really didn't feel too fatigued with that in this game, and that is one of Paper Mario's big complaints is the backtracking. But they did a great job with that.
Oh yeah, for sure. What do you think of the enemy variety here? I love how each chapter has like a lot of unique enemies. There are so many cool ones too,
Yep, and
and
of
just the way
course I
that
had to
they're
try to spy on every. But yeah, I really like yeah, the enemy variety is great. I do wish that so one thing about playing on hard mode, you get more experience. So there were times when I'd get to new areas and I was already stronger than some of the enemies there, and especially one nice thing too, they have a medal that you can equip that lets you just kill weaker enemies because
yes,
even if the enemy only gives you one XP, like if you're playing on hard, they still can brutalize you, even though they're supposed to be way weaker than you.
yeah.
But yeah, I do. That is the only like complaint with that. But I just would take it off when I'd get to a new area and make sure I get all the enemies. But yeah, they did a great job with introducing tons of variety. I didn't feel too many repeats, other than like the ones. They're Goombas or like the sprouts or the little like seed
Yeah,
type enemies.
they're called the seedlings.
So yeah, that was always fun with
Yeah.
that.
I love the midges. I thought they were super cool. Like the little flying, they're like little flying like bugs
Oh
with a
yeah.
very pointy nose. I always like those. You also get one of the very good early game badges here. It's found like in the Golden Hills area, like right after you leave, right after the ceremony when you're going towards the big bad boss. The back support, which gives you +1 defense to the person in the back.
Yep, I pretty much had that one equipped all the whole game.
Yeah, like we said, positioning really matters. Like in the combat. I also like how they utilize Leaf's like freezing ability here. Like you learn a lot
Oh
in the
yeah,
Golden
it's.
Hills. Like you
I
have to,
think it's
yeah,
essential like ability for combat is a frigid coffin is I think the best move in the game because number one it's only 3 TP so it's not bad at all and it can freeze most enemies and most bosses for 2 turns which is crucial if you don't have much HP so you can use a turn to heal or and then if you or you can make so they don't attack for 2 turns or in turn you can attack them for +1 more damage if they're frozen. So that was like my key strategy to getting through this game is I would use like yeah whatever abilities and frigid coffin just so good.
yeah. And then yeah, like we said, the puzzle aspect. You use V's boomerang a lot, and you use Leaf's like frozen ability.
Yeah, and then Babu
And
to hit
then
the block.
yep, Kabu to hit the block. Now, since you played it later, did they already up? You played it with the update where Kabu can basically like sprint the whole time.
Once he unlocks the ability, or
Yeah,
once you actually have to hit a button to stop the sprint.
yeah. So in the original, you had like there was like a fatigue meter.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was good that they
Yeah,
changed that. I would
yeah.
say.
That they changed that. That was one of the first big major updates they did. But then the boss, the Venus Guardian.
Yeah, did you
Um,
struggle with that one? I actually think I struggled more with the spider than I did with the Venus or
See,
yeah.
I struggled more with this one. I think I struggled a lot more in the early game, like the first couple chapters, like we had said. But yeah, I struggled with this one a little bit. I was still getting used to the combat, still like kind of in my Paper Mario bag. But then I, eventually figured it out. For combat wise, I really use V and Leaf a lot for like damage, and then for defense, I use Cabo as the tank.
Yep, same. Yeah, there was one. I don't remember when you get this medal for V that lets you it's like a power throw boomerang. So you
Yep,
throw that and then it like makes the enemy's defense go down and it also hits for I boosted her attack, so I think it hit for 5 or 6. And so yeah, I would do that, and then I would freeze the enemy. And then if once I build up a lot of TP, I would still attack with Kabu. But if not, he would be like my item healer person or my taunter. If
same.
that didn't, but yeah, that was pretty much my strategy, which I think would work most of the game.
No, definitely. Also, you collect a little bit more books. There's a library in the Ant Kingdom, and you can like find books and like
Yeah,
collect
lore
them and bring them
books.
to that. Yeah, lore books. Did you read them?
I I did read. I'd collected them all. I think I skimmed through them. I didn't read them too closely, but
Oh,
I made
I've
sure to
read them all.
collect them all.
They just tell you a lot about like the backstory and
Yeah,
history and
I
stuff.
made sure to
It,
collect all the lore books and get all the discoveries.
yes, that is that is essential. All right, so I think we can move on to chapter 3 here. Chapter 3 is my favorite chapter in this
That is
game.
a really good one. And originally
Yep.
it starts out because it's like you start in the desert, and I'm always like, ugh, because the original
Yep.
Paper Mario, I don't really like the desert chapter very much because, and it does kind of do some similar things. Like it has a bunch of confusing paths to go, but unlike Paper Mario, which most of them are just a waste and you shouldn't go on them, these ones you fully explore and you can actually end up in different spots. So I really did like the desert.
Yeah. And it's funny, like the desert kind of acts as like a giant location for the rest of the game. Like a lot of areas are
Yep.
connected to the desert, so that's always cool. But the reason why it's my favorite is because you go to the hive where V is from.
And all the I will say too, which I think you talked about this on why you should play a bit, but all the bees kind of treat V very like nasty or no, I mean not nasty, but they're not very nice to her at least at the beginning of the chapter. But yeah, then you go into her hive and then you have to go to the factory.
Yep, you go to the honey factory. Yeah, and then this is where you kind of get a little bit of like more backstory with V, about why she acts the way she does, her personality, a lot of the backstory. You actually meet V's sister,
Yep.
which is interesting. You also meet the professor here when he can create things. Did you do the optional stuff for the professor where he makes you like a little fourth companion?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was gonna talk about that. Yeah, that's one of the. I loved a chompy. Is that because
Yep,
that's what you get
Chompy.
that as a
Yeah,
reward for beating that the chomper mother that you talked about in
yep,
chapter two or chapter 2. So because you get the seed from that, but it's funny because I went to him and he's like, "Well, I got to wait for my assistant to go back because your assistant's his assistant's in the desert, but you have to like do a little puzzle to like get a badge there, and then he'll come back, and then you can get the chompy. Which yeah, the fourth companion's really nice. Did you do all the other professors'
yep.
challenges?
I did them all, and like and then like all the combat stuff too.
Yep. Yeah, I did all
Yep.
of them enough to get the badge. I don't think I had them all unlocked when I did them, but I got enough to do the badges. So,
Yeah. Also, another thing I forgot to mention, like a lot of the like side quests open up during each chapter, and
oh
doing the
yeah,
side quests gets you more abilities for certain characters. Like this is where you can start like Leaf's kind of like character
yep,
arc backstory. It's called Leaf's Request, and then each time you do one, you kind of learn a little bit more, and you get new abilities. Also, what I really liked about the Beehive is you kind of there's like an area with a telescope, and you can look in the
yep.
telescope, and you get like a whole view of Bulgaria,
I was gonna
and
bring that up.
you realize that the giant desert is just a sandbox.
Right, which made it even cooler because I know a lot of people talk about like world connectivity, and the first Paper Mario does a fantastic job with that. Where Thousand Year Door is a little more unbelievable as far as the
Hmm.
world, but yeah, the fact that because if you think of, on surface level, it's like, all right, this why is there a desert in the middle of this random bug kingdom? But yeah, the telescope opens up so much because it's like, oh wow, this is a sandbox. So we're like in a human backyard,
Yep. And
basically.
then you start learning about more about the lore and like what's going on. You also get Leaf's bubble shield here, which is
Oh
super
yeah.
super useful in combat, and it's one of the field skills. So a lot of the puzzles here revolve around Leaf's bubble shield in the factory. The thing I do like about this chapter though is like we talked about, they break it down into like two sections. You have the desert, well the sandbox, and then you have like the actual beehive, and like there's puzzles in each of them, and they each focus on different characters. um and it is funny because there's like a little village you go to
Yep.
beforehand, and when Mothiva is there's like a huge crowd around her, and V is like complaining like, why is she so famous? I don't get it, like who
Jealous.
cares? Yeah, he's so jealous.
I also like one thing we didn't talk about, but there is a unique chef in each of the first
Oh,
three areas.
yes.
And this is the area where I discovered the donuts that give you 12 TP. And like the rest of the game, that was like I would always come back here and make donuts for that because donuts were definitely my most used item. And then like the chef in the Golden Settlement could make those tango, like use the
Hmm.
tango berries to make those, and then the fly in the first area could make the queen's dinner if you combine both of those. But yeah, I thought that they did a great thing with the cooking because again, it's very Paper Mario esque. I got all the recipes, and even if you missed recipes, you can buy them later, so you can get them all pretty easily. But I
Yeah,
do like that they focus because it cooking is way. I feel like it's pretty essential to hard mode, and it's underutilized. I'm sure by most people.
for sure, especially because sometimes when you cook you get like the disaster.
Yeah,
Yeah, the mistake. One thing I love is when you're in the factory. This is kind of why you go into the honey factory. Is the computerized voice comes like, warning, alert code 32, alert code 30,
yeah.
and like they're like, what is code 32? And then HB, who's like the scientist, is like, yeah, that's factories being attacked.
I also just like because
Which
you get are stuck in the factory with Mothra, Zasp, and then who are those two other ant explorers that join you sometimes? They'd like escorted people.
yeah,
I don't
I
remember
can't
their
remember their
name.
names. Yeah,
But it's like Mothra and Zasp just like, all right, we're out of here. They just blow through a door and like don't even pay attention, and then you find them in trouble later, of course. But
yeah. Oh, what'd you think of? Okay, so V's old boss Malby, like the little bee with like the it has like the long
yeah,
she's an orange hat, the green goggles. Um What do you think of her? Because at first she hates V, but then she
Yep,
like
we warmed
kind of
up
grows
to
to
him.
accept her.
She's
Yeah.
not the manager though, right? Because is the manager the one you have to rescue and then escort back? She's like a taller one. Because I think I know
No,
who
she's
you're.
not the manager. No, no.
Okay, yeah, it
She's
is.
just like the original, like she's kind of like a bee that she like was in charge of
Yeah.
V.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Between her and then I also thought the interaction before you even get to the factory with V and the Queen because she's like
Mm.
V's kind of like very embarrassed. She like has a big chip on her shoulder because she's a smaller bee compared to most of the bees, and they basically are like, "You're not gonna make it as an explorer." But even before all that, the Queen's like very nice to V, and I think that kind of surprises her a bit. And I also like how the party members are always like, do you need some time alone? Like they're very like
Very
focused on that.
understanding of each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because sometimes in JRPGs, like you'll have private moments with one character, and the rest of the party's just standing there with their eyes glazed over, like, why are you here? But yeah, chapter
Yeah.
3 was
No.
good. I like the abominable honeys that you fight. There's like a
Yeah.
boss you fight of that, and that bee drone
Yeah.
was hard. That was one of the
Dude,
toughest bosses.
the bee drone is so like that's so such a creative idea. It's like, oh, we're gonna fight like a robot bee. It
And
is
this is
so cool.
where
And then
Yeah, this is where
yep.
you really have to get used to the switching because, well, I mean, you have to do it beforehand because a lot of times Kabu can hit hard shelled enemies and weaken them so the other party can hurt them. But this time you need to use V a lot to knock the drone down so that both Leaf and Kabu can attack them. And I think it takes 2 hits. So you have to at least do it twice, or you have to use like one of V's attacks that hit multiple times in order for the other two to get used to it. So I feel like this fight especially really made me get used to how to deal with situations like that.
Yeah. Also, before we move on from this chapter, the big desert's called the Lost Sands, and that little
Oh yeah.
village before you enter the Bee Kingdom is called Defiant Root. There is a very funny thing in here. I don't know if you noticed it or remember. During there's a side quest called the Lost Item, and Zasp, who is again Mothiva's
Oh
like
yeah, 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 I know
bodyguard, he's dressed up and he's in disguise, and he asks the basically you have to go get him a Mothiva doll. He's
yeah.
embarrassed to like get one as himself. So funny.
Yeah, isn't it? Wasn't it like hidden, but like it was dropped in the hotel or something? Was that
Yeah,
one? Okay, yeah, I
yeah.
thought so.
Also, this is like the primary area I did most of my cooking in.
Yeah, same. Well, that's where that bee with the donut. I feel like this one, and then just the area back in Ant Village. I really did not use the one at or the Golden Settlement very much.
No, I didn't, which is funny.
We-
Um,
I also don't know when we want to get into some of the side quests, but it's funny on like the back of I got like the physical copy on Switch, and the back of the box is like over 30 side quests. There are way more than 30 side
way
quests.
more than 30 side quests. They say over 30. Yeah, there definitely is over
Yeah,
30 because there's a
because
lot.
they're like I tried to
Um,
do all of them like basically after each chapter or before you'd start the next chapter, a bunch would open up. But I didn't really. I tried not to use a guide too much, so there were. I'm sure I missed some hidden ones because there were some hidden ones I had to find to get some lore books. So
mm, no, definitely, yeah. All right, so we'll just keep running through the chapters first then. All right, and
yeah,
then we'll just talk about a couple like side quests that really stood out to us. All right, so chapter 4 is the mysterious lost sand. So you go again. This is you get more in depth into the lost sands area. This is kind of like the more desert
yeah.
chapter.
Which is funny
Because you
because I'm guessing you probably did the same thing as me that you tried to explore most of the desert before you even went to the Defiant route. So you discovered some of these areas before you were even supposed to, even though you couldn't necessarily do anything in them. But
yep, like the bandit hideout, the chomper
yeah,
cave, all that. Yeah. So this is like your traditional like we said, your traditional desert area. You also get captured by bandits in this chapter.
right. And lose all your
Um
stuff.
you lose all your stuff and you have to sneak around. It's very akin to Wind Waker
Yeah.
sneaking around the temple. The oh my god, why can't I remember the name? That temple. Um yeah. No, it's awesome though. I actually really for a desert chapter, which I usually don't like, I actually really liked it. I like the idea of stripping down and having to sneak around by these bandits. Um,
Yeah, chapter 4, I feel like again, chapter 4 are usually is one of my favorite chapters in all the Paper Mario games because it's in the original it's Shy Guy's toy box, and then Thousand Year Door it's what is it?
The
The
Twilight
Yeah,
Town.
Twilight Town. So I really like the bandit, and then this is also where you go to the castle, right? Like the sand castle. Is that
Yep,
this
you go to the
chapter?
sandcastle here, which is super cool, super artistic. You see all the different
Right.
areas. The sand
Actually,
kind of like
yeah,
go
before
on.
we even get there though, I actually forgot one of my favorite parts in the game is like before that because on your way to there, I think it's to there, right, that you run into the scorpion.
Yep, the
Yeah, and
Dune
then
Scorpion.
yeah, and he basically you beat it like you normally would, but then Leaf like dies almost. And then
Yeah,
Zap
these like white things like come out of his
yeah,
body.
and then Zasp actually like helps you beat the scorpion, which is yeah, that has some really good character moments there because it really scares Kabu and V a lot.
Yeah, and again, this is kind of you're getting a little bit more about Leaf's background. He hears voices about like a failed experiment,
Yeah.
and he like has no idea what's going on. Again, that amnesia. Um, and they do not. So Kabu and V, before you go to the sandcastle, they do not want Leaf coming with him, but they say okay. Um, but yeah, going back to the bandit camp, I think it's so funny. Just like there's like wasps that are in the band. Do you remember this
Yeah.
part when the wasps they hadn't paid the bandits like I said they would? Because there was like a bounty on Team Snake Mouth, and they're
Right.
like, "We're not paying you for them." So then the bandits don't give you up.
Right. And another thing too with the bandits, did you there's a lot of side quests like if you don't
Yep.
like if you explore around you'll find a lot of weird items and I found most of them before I even left, which is good because then you get side quests for them later.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, so then yeah, we go to the sand castle, and I really liked the sandcastle's design.
Me
It was
too.
really interesting because you have like a main room, and like you have to go into like each subsequent room and do like kind of like mini puzzles.
And you're working your way up, which I always like the
Yes.
vertical, like because you unlock at the end like these platforms that'll take you to the very top. So you're just working side to side and trying to get up to the very top.
Yeah, exactly. And we also get a little bit more of Leaf's ability to like understand Roach language because the team hears
Oh
voices
yeah,
shouting in Roach dialect, and it Leaf can translate it. Obviously, it says this place is not for bugs. Leave or be buried. And then the room starts to fill up with sand, which is so funny. Um, and that actually reveals the boss, like the Watcher.
yeah, that
Um,
was a good battle. I can't remember. I don't think I had as much trouble as the bee drone, but this is where the game start. I started to click with some of the combos I was getting. So
Yeah, no, definitely. Also, we this kind of adds to the lore of it because the Watcher, who has the same type of magic as Leaf and attack, so it kind of is connected to Leaf's
yeah,
backstory. So you're trying to like, what's going on here? But yeah, no, overall, this was a good desert like chapter. But yeah, like you had said earlier, I had kind of like ran around the entire area beforehand, so it was kind of like, come on.
yeah, and I think it was after I finished this chapter is when I finally discovered the because I had completed the side quest that unlocked the bar that you could do the bounties, but
Yep.
I forgot where it was. So then this is where I finally found that, and that's where I start because I found that mountain area, and that was the first bounty I actually completed. And there's also an enemy in that mountain area, like the giant. It's like a roach. I don't. It's like
Yeah,
throws
it's a giant
giant
roach.
rocks at you. It gives you
Yeah.
so much XP. So I like level grinded a bit for there to get I think at least a couple levels because it gives you like 20 XP for one enemy.
Mm, no, definitely. Yeah, the what Straw was talking about, there's like an underground bar in the Defiant Route, and like there's like a they basically give you like bounties, like you had said. In that bar, you also discover spy cards.
Which I did not discover till like the end of the game for some because I didn't
Oh,
talk to the guy.
Yeah, you discover spy cards, just like a little card based mini game. I really like spy
I
cards.
did
I have
too.
physical versions of the cards. It's
Yeah, that's
awesome.
so cool. I heard you say that. Yeah, but I think and Poot missed it, right? Like the whole mini
Yeah, he had
game.
no he missed the entire thing.
Which
Yeah.
it is because there are some quests about it. Like there's like a person in each area to challenge to or to spy, and then you go to a tournament at Metal Island. But I really like that it kind of like incentivizes you to spy on enemies, which again, I'm sure you and I already would do it naturally because of Paper Mario and even like trails and stuff. We're used to
Yeah,
spying or
you always
paddling
you
on
want to know
enemies.
you want to know every little bit about each enemy.
Exactly. But this
Yeah.
like use especially like if you fight some of those secret bosses, you spy on them, their cards are really good cuz like that Mother Chomper card, that was my main like card in the game that I used like for my
Mm.
deck cuz I built like a very heavy Chomper deck cuz basically the card would summon I think it would give all Chompers that were played at the same time +2, so it was
Yep.
really good.
Yeah. So far through these first four chapters, you get a lot of backstory about V and Leaf. So we haven't heard a lot about Kabu, and that all changes in chapter 5 when you go to the far wild lands. The Wildlands is basically like where the wasps all are, the Wasp
Mhm.
Kingdom. It's kind of like the Forbidden Land. Like no one else goes there but wasps. And this is like your tropical rainforesty area. So very kind of similar to Paper Mario, where Chapter 5 is kind of
Yeah.
like that, the island area.
And
Um,
at the beginning of this chapter, is that when the Wasp King like shows up and like
yes,
wrecks you and
he,
takes the artifact or one
yeah,
artifact?
he takes the artifacts. Yeah, except for the one that you're holding on to.
Right.
So he takes them because again, the Wasp King wants the everlasting sapling because he wants to live forever.
Yep.
Basically, that's the whole idea. Is the everlasting sapling is going to make you live forever. But yeah, you go to the far wild lands. It's past the Ant Kingdom and into Wasp Kingdom territory,
And it's
which
funny,
is really
I discovered this area before this chapter
same,
because
same.
there's like a tunnel. I don't remember exactly where it is, but there's a tunnel that leads you here because I came out in this area. I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm supposed to be here yet. And then I just dug the tunnel back. So I had quick access right away. I wasn't even sure how to originally get to the area at first because I had just had that backdoor shortcut.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where Maki joins you, one of the other ant explorers. He joins you to you're serving as a guide. You're just bringing him towards the wild
Mr. Six
swamplands.
Damage.
Yep. But yeah, the wild swamplands are really interesting. Like we said, it's like very tropical foresty. There's a lot of it's very puzzly. There's a lot of like up and down like up and like you're doing a lot of
Yep.
vertical stuff. It's very interesting. But yeah, there's a lot of wasps around. Most the main enemies around here are wasps because again, you're in the wasp
I
um
also like those
area.
enemies that like the tribal ones like they would get one attack if you'd attack another one. Like there was the archer, then the one that was like the
Oh, the leaf
ninja.
bug ninjas. Yeah, the
Yeah.
leaf bug ninjas, leaf bug archers, leaf bug clubbers. Yeah, those are really cool. You also have the zombies. This is like from a
Oh
side
yeah.
quest. They show up here. They're like basically dead bees.
Yep. Yeah, this is the area where like it's funny too because I'm like I know V is going to learn how to fly at one point and she does fly during a cutscene, but you still don't get the ability yet. I'm just like,
Yeah,
"Come on, V."
no, definitely. This is like the area with the most diverse enemies as well. You
Yep.
also yeah. So then you infiltrate the Wasp Kingdom basically, and you go there. You end up going into the like the Wasp Kingdom hive, which is interesting because you meet the Wasp Queen,
And the
who's like
general.
not and the general, yes. Which is really interesting because you learn a little bit more here about Kabu.
Oh yeah, because
Want to get
before that, that's where you fight the giant. Is it like a centipede or roach or
yeah, it's like a giant roach centipede-ish person.
yeah, this is one of the darker spots because you find out that Kabu's like his old team all were killed by that,
Yeah, and Kabu survived. He has like survivor's guilt,
and he because he
and it
was
makes
like
him
a
very
newbie, right? So they like
yeah,
protected him.
yeah, and it makes him very trepidatious about everything. Um, but yeah, what'd you think of the whole idea of like the Wasp Queen and not really agreeing with the Wasp King?
I wasn't expecting it. I thought it was just going to be a traditional wasp versus ants, but yeah, you find out there was like a conspiracy. Like he just kind of took the crown away from the queen and rose to
Hmm.
power. I also like that the general is like he's like very like intimidating and powerful when he's got like his subordinates or like a tank with him, but then when you get rid of all that, he's like just like has this glazed look over and's like such a wimp that then you can beat him easily.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, what happens ends up happening is you can find a lot of wasps who don't agree with the Wasp King. They're kind of
Yeah.
like trapped in their um they were more with the queen. One of them is Jade, who thinks you're like the Bug Rangers, and she's like, I'm a huge fan of you
Oh yeah, I
guys.
forgot about
But she
her.
basically, yeah, she basically tells you everything that's gone happen. Like the Wasp King, like Straw said, has gone rogue. Um, but yeah, and then moving on from that, we get kind of get to the big bad boss. Um, what do you think of the boss here?
This was the general, or which one was this?
The
Because
yeah, this is the hang on one second. Sorry.
because I know you fought that roach. So there was a couple big bosses in this chapter because you fought that roach thing that Kabu was that killed most of his friends, which I thought that fight was
Oh,
interesting.
the beast. Yeah, it's the giant beast.
The
Yeah, it's like the
beast,
centipede. That is yeah. Because
yeah,
then it comes back, and then Kabu kind of gets more confidence, and you
yeah,
end up
because
beating him.
it's funny too with that fight because I think it's scripted because near the end, like you get this attack that like basically kills everybody, but then Kabu gets like super powered up and then you can beat him because I'm like, oh no, this fight was going great, and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna die, but you can Kabu like basically can fight through it all himself then.
Yeah, and if you have Chompy already, she disappears during
Oh
that,
yeah, see, I didn't
which is
have
funny.
Chompy yet.
Yeah, I didn't either in my original playthrough. You also get, I think it's this chapter, or it might have been the chapter before, the ability for Kabu to like move the giant boulders with his head.
Yeah, this is where you charge through them. I thought.
Yeah.
Yep, you unlock that right before you fight that because that's kind of how you can backtrack because you get like separated in the area and then Maki gets hurt and you have to
Hmm.
like try to get to him and then that's where you fight that giant beast. And then you go to the Wasp Hive, like you said, and you fight the general, which is one of my favorite characters because
General
he
Ultimax.
kind of reminds me a bit of is it Groda or what's the general from Thousand Year Door? It's kind of like a
Oh yeah,
buffoon.
Grodu,
Yeah,
Grodox. Yeah,
Grotus, or I don't know
yeah.
if Grotus is the head guy or if he's the general, but
The General of the X Nauts.
yeah, general. But yeah, he's. I feel like he is a like a shout back to him. He's not quite as goofy, I don't think, but he has like similar fights and the same type of moves, which is funny.
Yeah, it is funny. Yeah. But yeah, then we move on to chapter 6. This is the assault on the rubber prison, and basically you're going to the termite capital, which is like considered the Forsaken Lands. No one goes here.
Yeah,
You're
and the
going to the
queen goes
land
with
of the
you, right?
termites. Yep, she does
This is where you
because
kind of
they need.
start. Yeah, this is where I started to be like, all right, the queen, because she kind of reveals what her plan was. So like originally, like you said too, we both were like, oh, we're gonna have to be battling this queen because she's gonna be evil at the end. But really, she actually just wanted it for a more wholesome purpose. Like her mother, she wanted to make so she
Mhm.
lives because she thought that she was a better queen than her.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, she comes with you because they're basically trying to enlist the help of the termites because
Right.
they need help now
And
because
they're at
they're
war, like they
understanding the
hate
wasp.
each other basically.
Yeah. So she's kind of like the peace offering. I really liked the Forsaken Land. It's like cloudy. I did get lost a few times my first time doing it, like in that area.
The only thing they give you a tip, it's kind of like the area in chapter 3 of the original Paper Mario going to Tubba Blubba's fortress. Like you have to look for different signs by the different pathways so it can kind
Yep.
of help you guide. So I did like that. I don't think I got too lost. Some of the side quests were a little confusing in that area, but yeah, I like this area a lot.
Hmm. Yeah. And then you eventually end up in like the ancient city, which is like where the termites are in the termite capital. What do you think of the city? It's like
It's very
it
like
reminds me of like a big city like a New York.
yeah, it's very techy and like dark. Like there's even like a back alley where you can find like somebody who has he has like black paint eventually you have to get.
Yeah.
But Yeah, and of course it has like a coliseum, which I was like excited about. But then every time I
Yep.
tried to go, you couldn't fight there until. Does it open up like way later? Do they have coliseum matches? Because every time I went, it never had any.
Yeah, it's a post game thing.
Oh, okay, that's why. But yeah, yeah, I did like the city a lot. There's a lot of I like how vertical again. It like I like
Mm,
verticality in this because you can like go up to the buildings and even like use V's flight to like fly to different windows and stuff.
yeah, there's like I said, it has like that old, it has like the downtown city like feel. Like there's like a
Yeah.
diner and everything. There's like a pizza place. It's really cool. It's really interesting, and then you kind of find out more about like why the termites and why the ants hate each other.
This
So yeah,
also
no, go on.
I was just gonna say this also has a lot of good shortcuts later to get to this town because there's a tunnel you can find right outside the city. There's also like a bridge you can knock over that like really cuts the area down to get back and forth.
Hmm. You also get the submarine here. You still there?
Yeah, sorry, what'd you say?
You also get the submarine here.
Oh yeah.
Because again, you get the you need the submarine to go to this island. What is the island called again? Sorry.
Yeah, Metal
Oh,
Island. Or
yeah,
you
to
go
go
to
to metal,
Rubber
metal.
Prison, I mean.
Yeah, rubber prison. Peacock Island's also optional to go to the rubber prison. So that's what you get from the termites because at the rubber island, you're trying to, well, the rubber prison, you're trying to get
Track
more
down the
history.
Wasp King,
Yeah,
yeah.
track down the Wasp
But
King.
even before that, like with the Colosseum, did you like how they did like the battle, and then of course Mothra and Zasp like hijacked the last fight, and then you have to
Oh, of
fight them
course.
again? That was
Yep.
great.
And then V is just very animated. V is like all into it. She's like, "Oh, we're gonna fight more and more and more."
But of course, once I got the submarine, I did not go to the rubber prison. I immediately went everywhere but there
Oh, of
since I
course. I
had
mean, that's what you
access.
have to do for these games.
Yeah, because I
Um,
don't know if you like. I'm sure you did. You discover like that fishing village because in the
yep.
forgotten like or lands in the swamp, there's like this mantis that's like guarding this area, and you can come in behind this way, which and then fight them, which was good.
Yeah. It's also funny the termites they want to buy land in Bulgaria, so they want to
Oh
like
yeah,
kind of go back to society. So the queen kind of lets them. So they come with you back to Bulgaria, and you can
yeah,
start seeing like termites around like the main
which is
area,
cool. Yeah,
which is
they like
funny.
kind of
Yeah.
check out the culture a bit because they're very
No.
isolated there.
Yes, they're isolated. They haven't seen anyone in a long time. Um, so when you get to the prison, the rubber prison, there's like a lot of like again mini puzzles. You're trying to it's all wasps are there.
Yeah, the rubber
You need to
prison,
find.
I will say it kind of frustrated me a bit. Like it's very big and very confusing kind of where to go. I didn't like I had found there's a spot where you have to it's funny because I pretty much had solved it, but I couldn't like there you find these books throughout the rubber prison, then you have to
Hmm.
put them in the bookshelf. But I,
Yep.
I kept trying the different bookshelves and it wouldn't let me put them. And here it was, I guess I don't know if it just didn't click when I hit it the one time, but that part really confused me. So because it's a really big prison.
Yeah, it is huge, and basically the reason you're there is because again, the they know the Wasp King has figured out where the everlasting sapling is, and the
Yeah.
prison is like right outside of there. It's actually called the giantess lair, is where the everlasting sapling is. So you go there, and then you fight the Ultimax again, the tank, the giant tank.
Yeah, which that fight wasn't too bad for me. Actually, it was a little challenging because I forgot to heal before the fight, so
Oh,
I
really?
gave myself
Yeah.
a handicap. But otherwise, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I mean they can summon like wasp troopers and wasp
Yeah,
scouts and stuff during the fight, but
I
it,
really
it
like.
reminded me of the general fight from Chapter 4 of Paper Mario.
Yep, exactly. And I really like the wasp enemies that like throw the bombs at you. So like, because if you hit them with Kabu, they like start to fall over. Then if you hit them
Mm,
again, they'll like fall down, and then you can hit them.
yeah. And then we move on to Chapter 7, and it's called the Everlasting Sapling, and we go to the Giant's Lair, and it's the final chapter where you're just in one area, you're in the Giant's Lair, and you kind of find out here that You're actually in like a house.
Right. Yeah,
You
it's
actually
like
end up going. You
yeah,
go
it's
on.
just like a creepy little area because it's like there's these eyes that keep looking at you.
Yeah, and you if you do not want to get hit by the vision cone. Um, there's also you go into a refrigerator and a freezer.
Yeah, that
It's
was so
really
cool.
interesting. It's so cool. I love how you can like the physics change too, like you're sliding around. Um,
I will say too, the hardest fight in the entire game for me were these enemies. Like you have that forced encounter at the end because they have so much HP and they really don't take. They we can't freeze them very easily. Like some of them, I think have 30 to 40 HP.
oh,
So
like the dead, they're called like the dead land, like the landers and
yeah,
the
pretty much.
dead
I feel
betas.
like there's
Yeah, they're called the dead betas, dead alphas. Some of
yeah,
them are have like balloons.
yeah, you have to fight all three of them at once, and you have Maki with you. But again, because I didn't upgrade my HP, like they would hit sometimes for like 7 or 8 damage, so then you like die.
Yeah, I just thought it was so cool. This whole area, like you're finding more about the backstory. Like you're in an actual
Yeah,
house. You find out the giants are humans that are just trying to like they're like looking at you. The vision cone's looking at you. It's interesting, and this is where you find when you progress through. Um, you find the Wasp King. He also and he found the everlasting sapling.
yeah.
So you fight the Wasp King, and then he eats the everlasting sapling and becomes the everlasting king. Um, I know some people had problems with this boss fight. I didn't think it was that hard.
No, it's the first phase is really easy. I don't know, but because
Yeah,
yeah, I think what throws people off is because his HP isn't very high, but then he keeps healing himself like 3 times. So that kind of, but I don't know too. Like once the different relics start coming into battle, I pretty much just ignored the relics and kept attacking him. So I don't know if
same.
that makes it a little
Yeah,
easier. But I had plenty of items. He definitely was not the hardest boss fight in the game. There were a couple optional ones that I thought were definitely harder, but yeah, it was a good close to the end because yeah, then after you beat him, he turns into just a regular sapling.
yep. It's funny, and that the backstory behind it is that they think the everlasting sapling didn't work because it didn't get enough sunlight. Because again, it was inside like a house.
That's true. But yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely
So
the story was definitely a lot more involved than I expected. Because again, it's so much like Paper Mario, which I mean, the Thousand Year Door has a really good story, but it's not that complex. So I really wasn't expecting like plot twists and stuff in the game like there was.
yeah. Where this one, you're kind of like uniting kingdoms together to take down
Yeah,
the one common, and even the wasps end up like siding with you, like the ones that
yeah, the
were
Wasp
with
Queen,
the queen.
because she gives you like a fire emblem, a fire emblem, an emblem like that blocks the fire attack
Yep.
from the Wasp King too.
Yeah, which is great. So yeah, it's just like a story about you being united. But let's talk about Leaf's backstory a little bit because we didn't really get into that. Um, so you end up finding out that Leaf is essentially a clone.
Yeah, it's like he's like a test sub because you discover in that the snake mouth cave there's like a different area you can go to, and that's where like the roaches, which the roaches you meet before you get to the everlasting sapling, you do kind of talk to them about like some of the roaches went there and they were like experimenting on these bugs, and
On
that's
these like moths on the
yeah,
moths that were like Leaf, and you just find out he's a clone and that he really doesn't have like a whole backstory. He was just kind of born as the way he is, and at first he's very depressed about it.
yeah. Yeah, because you,
But then,
you meet his. He thinks it's his wife, right? At first, he
yep,
meets, but it's actually his daughter, which is interesting. And then, but yeah, I hit the scientific area was one of my favorite areas in the whole game. Like I liked the story there. The boss was really challenging there. It took me a few tries with him, but yeah, that was and then plus the story and implications for Leaf were great.
yeah, and eventually, he accepts it and says like, "No, I am Leaf. Like, I am my own person." It's basically about like basically finding himself and accepting who he is.
Yeah, because he's like, yeah, because the experiment failed, they thought, but then it actually he took over like the moth that was Leaf's body. So yeah, it's I also like just like going around the area putting ice cubes in the water and then jumping around. That's fun.
Yeah. Also, I meant to say he talks like in like the third person, but he uses like first person plural. He's like we.
Yeah,
He
or
uses like
they,
we, like
or yeah,
we are doing this.
yeah,
They are doing this. Our yeah, which is really interesting. And it, supposedly, if you like, you learn from the backstory that it's because of those like white cordyceps that are inside of him.
yeah.
So he's like more than one person. It's a really interesting like backstory and like really profound.
Yeah, his side quest was definitely my favorite of the core three. V's was good too. Hers was just a lot of you gotta. She wanted to make up with her sister, which was really sweet at the end because then like she makes the painting. But that one's a lot of,
Yeah.
hey, I want this item. Go get this item from a different
Yep.
kingdom. It's like a
Fetch
better.
questy.
It's a
Fetch
better
questy.
general white quest at least.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think you also get the one of the best attacks from Leaf's stories, the Ice Rain.
Oh yeah,
That one's pretty good. But we talked about the Bubble Shield is awesome. Yeah, overall, like the combat's great. Other than Leaf's side quest, did you have any or V side quest? Did you have a standout side quest that you really liked?
I tried to do all of them, like I said that I could. I'm sure I missed some because there's some hidden ones. I liked a lot of the ones in the termite village. Like there was one where you had to find the girl, like the one termite's pet, and then you had to like
Yep.
navigate the mushrooms. I also just thought the one was funny where you had like that he wanted something that made him sleep, but that because it's always dark there, but then it's also like he wanted something that would make sure he'd wake up from not say because he was overworking.
Yeah.
So yeah, I also really like the one where you team up with those other adventurers to go into the cave on the way to the Golden Settlement. There's like a hidden door, and then you fight this boss that's like he always pretends to be like somebody else to trick adventurers and then knock them out and take their stuff. I don't remember his name. He has one of the best spy cards though. Like he was my vice general card because he got like if the total attack was +7, he would heal like 2 or something like that. I don't know if you remember
Yeah,
who
I
I'm
know.
talking. He had like
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
umbrella.
No, I totally hear you. I liked all the side quests that were the bounties. I like the side. I like um, the whole spy game, like the whole spy cards side quest. Um, as like a really kind of weird one, kind of like out of the blue. You have the two quests where the butler goes missing
Oh yeah,
for like the one of the one of just the bees in like the regular area. I like that one. There's a worker ant who wants like souvenirs. A
yeah,
lot of the rewards are just recipes or extra medals.
or
I
berries.
yeah, berries. They're really some of them are really interesting. You get a lot more. A lot of it's just building on the lore of
Yeah.
Bulgaria, which
There's
is
also
great.
the one with the little like muscle Hercules beetle where his horn breaks and then he clears like the rock so you can do that worm hitting mini game. I thought that
Oh my
was
gosh, that
interesting.
worm hitting
Yeah.
minigame. Yeah.
Then you have to help out the mayor a lot too. He has a couple
Yep.
quests for you. But yeah, I feel like they did a great job with the side quests. Number one, it's better than Paper Mario because you can take as many side quests as you
Yep.
want at the same time. And they also just they're interesting. Like even if the task is just like, oh, go beat 30 bandits, at least like the context is funny because he's like, I just hate bandits so much. I want them all dead. So then
Yep.
you have to go beat 30 or whatever and then come back and he gives you a medal.
Yeah, and then like we had talked about like with like the spy cards, like it's such a cool side game, and they have a whole tournament for it, and like you can
It was
totally miss it if you like don't
right.
talk to people.
And you get
I
a
don't know
lot of
about
money for it too.
yep. I'm pretty sure you're like me. Like I talk to almost like every NPC when I play these games. I
Yeah, I
just want
try
to learn.
to.
I
Oh,
want to just learn so much.
the one side quest I thought was really cool too was the one which I almost missed this one because it's the one innkeeper in the Golden Settlement or in Defiant Root is like friends with one of the innkeepers in the Termite Kingdom. But because
Hmm.
you can like if you talk to him at a certain time, you're like, "What's wrong with you?" or something like that, and then he tells you, and then you go back and talk to her, and then they come back and like open the inn together. But I like the cool quests like that. I just wish sometimes it'd be a little easier to find them because it's like I had talked to him before, but because I don't at once you oh did you also you bought the house pretty early on, I bet.
Oh, of course I did. Yeah, you get a little house. It's
Yeah, which
awesome.
is so cool because again, it's kind of expensive to stay at an inn. It's like anywhere from 9 berries to I don't know 20 because I stopped using it after I bought the house. But
Yeah, a lot of the times they let you the first time you rest, you get to rest for free, but then
right,
after that, it's like,
the
yeah,
bank is also
um,
kind of broken, I gotta say, because it
yeah.
gets interest. So like I had so much money at the end, I really didn't need to worry.
I love how their money though is berries.
Yeah,
I
that
think it's
is
cool.
funny.
Um, Also, so going back to the spy cards, when you go to the Metal Island, like it's like a big tournament, and you like verse a bunch of people. So they did an interview. I remember I watched. It was like an AMA on Twitch. This was like back in like 2020 with like one of the developers, like the main developer of the game and like the main writer. The people you go up against are all references to Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, that's funny.
So
Yeah,
like
I wouldn't have caught that.
one of the people is Boogie, and it's supposed to be Yugi, like Yugi Moto.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I've never played Yu-Gi-Oh, so I don't know. Like I know, obviously know who Yugi
I
is, but
watched the anime some, but
There's a
yeah.
character named Serene. And it's supposed to be Serenity Wheeler. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, yeah, I'd recognize some of those names, but yeah, I didn't even
Yeah,
think about it.
yeah. Johnny is supposed to be Joey
Yep,
Wheeler.
Joey Wheeler. That's
Um,
funny.
it's just really interesting. There's like I thought it was really cool. Like so, you're getting the inspiration here. So like yeah, it is
Yep.
cool. Like there's so much cool little stuff about this game. Like I would totally recommend this game to everyone, especially if you like turn-based
Oh yeah,
RPGs.
we got Kevin to start it because he had just finished the Thousand Year Door remake, and I'm like, go play this because yeah, it's so good. There's just not enough of these types of games. Like, I love like even our last long talk was about Expedition 33, and some of those it shares similar like combat aspects as far as like the just the way you can like block and or you can parry there, but just the interactive JRPG combats are great. I don't always want it. Like I love Trails combat too. I don't like it's I like
Yeah,
different types of
you need a little
combat.
bit of both
Yeah.
sometimes.
It's funny, like when I listened to you and Poot talk about it, I told Poot I didn't even discover the fishing. I wasn't even sure. I did, like they didn't really reference it, so I completely missed the fishing in this game.
Yeah, fishing. You have this fishing in this. It's like low key. It's not like anything. It's not like anything to write home about.
Right.
It's not Trails Through Daybreak fishing.
Of course not. Yeah, especially too. That's one of the best fishing in
Oh yeah,
trails. But
I
well,
love that
I want to
Trails
talk
fishing.
about the bounty bosses because those were some of my favorite
Okay, let's
battles
talk
in the
about
game.
those.
Two of the most difficult battles for me. The one I don't let me see if I can look up the pictures of them. And the one's like a poison, like it's in the area that like the golden settlement area, but it's like this purple flower that he like poisons you.
The
Um,
Devourer.
Yeah, let me look it up real quick here.
Yeah, it's called the Devourer.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, because yeah, he does
Yeah,
eat you. It's that I think that might have been the hardest boss in the game for me.
that boss was ridiculous. Like absolutely insane because it's just the poison aspect. Um,
And it's funny too because it like doesn't have that much HP. It only has like 50, but it heals itself. Yes, the devour, and it also spawns other enemies. So I feel like between him, False Monarch, I didn't have too much
False
troubles.
Monarch. False Monarch reminds me of Mario and Luigi art style, like
It does.
artwork,
Yeah, it
doesn't
looks
it?
just
Yeah,
like it. I love that boss.
yeah.
Peacock Spider wasn't too bad. Tidal Worm was the first optional boss I actually did, so that one did give me some trouble. I just beat because I did him so early, and that's the same with like the Seedling King. I did him so late, I didn't have too much trouble with him. But I feel like between the Devour and then that Chomper Mother that you talked about, where you found it
Yeah.
really early. Those two boss fights gave me the most trouble, and getting Chomp is like one of the best things because it adds a fourth party member. Because I feel like a lot of battles, especially when you do like the, it's not the Pit of 100 Trials, it's whatever.
It's called the Cave of Trial. Did you fight the Tangy Bug?
I did all the trials, but is there something else you have to do?
You need a Tangy Berry.
Oh no, I don't think I did.
So it's really obscure, and the only reason why I knew how to do it is because of that AMA that I listened to.
Oh, okay.
So once you complete the 50th wave, if you have a Tangy Berry in the fourth item slot,
Oh.
or if you have three total Tangy Berries at the same time, this thing called a Tangy Bug appears. It's not a spy. You can't spy on. It's like not a spy card. It's just like a little Easter egg. The boss is ridiculous. It
Okay.
has 100 HP, 5 defense, and it resists almost everything.
Wow. Yeah, I did all the trials, but yeah, I didn't do that because I think I only had one. I if I got a tangy berry, I would usually change it into the item, like I'd get it cooked usually, or I would combine it to get a queen's dinner. So
Yeah, that's the only way I knew how to do it. Also, at the end of the game, you have the boss at the end where you fight Mothiva and Zasp again.
yeah, I see the post game stuff. I didn't end up. I tried to do everything that was like I did Kabu's quest at the end, which you just pretty
Mhm.
much go to where you fought the beast, and then you get some dialogue. But I know there's some post game bosses I didn't end up doing because
Yeah, so you fight outside of the tangy bug, Mothiva and Zasp's last fight. It's completely optional. Is the hardest boss in the game.
okay, see, I thought you also can fight Maki and like that the ant crew. I heard they're pretty tough too.
Yeah, you can fight them too. You fight them before, but yeah,
Okay.
they're not like as tough. But yeah, it's the toughest in the game. It's funny though because you fight like right in front of the Ant Queen's like castle,
Oh, yeah,
which is
that's
pretty
I wish
funny.
I do like that some stuff is hidden, but I wish some in some ways they would like let you know so cuz like some stuff I completely missed because like I just didn't know about it. But I'll definitely replay the game again. And I'll probably play it on Steam next time just so I can go for the achievements cuz I tried to do I pretty much would have probably got most of them on Switch because like I said I did all the discoveries, I got all the lore books. I didn't quite get all the I spied on everything that I did, but I didn't get all the post game stuff. And I did the
Yeah,
Cave of Trials. Yeah, I did love this game though. I did all the spy card stuff, but it's just
yeah,
like and it still only took me like
it's like a 20 hour game.
$35.
Yeah, it's like if you just mainline, it's about like 20 25 hours, but then doing an extra side quests and stuff, it's about 30 35. It's great.
Especially when you unlock the ability that lets you just instantly teleport back to the ant
Yep.
castle. That's so nice. I'm glad you have that for the Forsaken area by the Termite Kingdom because that
Yeah,
area
because
can get really
it is very far
confusing.
away. Yeah, but yeah, so that's Bug Fables.
Great game. Yeah, whenever I'm still deciding if I want to do like I said a top 10 indie games sometime and I feel like this is definitely a contender between this Cuphead and Hollow Knight. Those are probably my three favorites and this
This
is
is
just
right
so
up there
good.
with this is right up there with Shovel Knight for me.
Nice. I know some people
Because
are turned off by the art style of this game, like the
I think
backgrounds
it's
and stuff, but
gorgeous. I think it's
I
gorgeous.
think it's great too. I mean, I can see like at the beginning, I feel like it takes a little bit to get used to, but yeah, by the end, I really liked it. So,
This is what I want, like Paper Mario to become. Like I want Paper Mario to be this.
especially the combat, like, because
Yes,
I want the
more in depth.
yeah, and I want it to like to be hard, difficult. It needs to kick you in the teeth because like you, there's so many medals in this game. Like I would boost Kabu's defense or make. I know there is some builds which I want to try doing this one next time, but there's basically a build that you can just always be poisoning Kabu and he like can be like basically
Yep.
be a tank and you'll never take any damage. You'll just be healing constantly.
Mm, yeah, for sure.
I
No,
love the
it's
variety and the depth and the combat for sure.
yeah. It's overall it's just a delightful game, and yeah, I just can't wait to see what this team does
I
next.
know. I'll definitely be there day one for what they do next. Yeah, like I said, I bought it on Steam and I have had it digital for Switch, but I went out and bought a physical copy as well, just because I liked it so much.
Yeah, I own it digitally on everything, and I own physical copies of it on everything. I have collector's editions. I love it. It's just I have Bug Fables merch. I have two different T-shirts of Bug Fables. I have one with the trio on it. I'm actually wearing that right now.
Nice.
It has the trio on it, and then I have another one that just has says the everlasting sapling, and it has a picture of the Wasp King.
Yeah, so definitely if you're a fan of Paper Mario, please play this game. Parrot, we're trying. We're gonna get you to play this. So
Oh yeah. All right, and that's gonna do it for today's backlog brain rot long talk on Bug Fables. Straw, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me.
as always, sayonara.
Bye, guys.